My name is Ibrahim Kazi,
I'm Rahul Arora.
And my name is Kidus Ayalew.
and today we're talking about climate change and the Great Salt Lake of Utah. Let's first start off with some background information. The Great Salt Lake in northern Utah is the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere, stretching about 75 miles long and 35 miles wide. It's known to be saltier than the ocean. Utah Natural Resources mines salt, magnesium, and potassium for everyday use throughout the state and globally. So, the Great Salt Lake is also a tourist attraction, as people want to see how there's a bed of 11 feet of salt at the bottom. Yet, unfortunately, the Great Salt Lake has suffered detrimentally from global warming and pollution. Also, the Great Salt Lake has ancient American history tying back to Native American tribes like the Ute, Shoshone, and Pwati. So, let's talk about the science behind how climate change is impacting the Great Salt Lake. The Great Salt Lake experienced significant shrinkage. The many factors, but the major ones listed below, are climate change, which causes increased evaporation, and also human activities. These activities encompass agriculture, industry, and urban development. Science links these changes to a broader ecological and environmental impacts. Legal actions seek to address and mitigate these effects that have been upon the Salt Lake.
So, and the on the picture on the left, that is the Great Salt Lake, years prior. And as you can see, there's a lot of water. And then on the right side, you can see the Great Salt Lake now, and now being July 2022. On the right side, you can see how much of the water has been dried up. This is due and has been caused by climate change and is causing a large amount of shrinkage in the water and in the Great Salt Lake. So some general aspects of the of how the Great Salt Lake is losing a lot of water is due to, like I have previously said, a drought, water diversions, and significantly because of climate change. This decline destroys the ecosystem while also affecting wildlife and mining and tourism. There are also worries about increased saltiness and also worries regarding the quality and that there's actually a decrease in the air quality. And the lake, as is very important to local communities, as we had previously stated, that it has heritage and like connected to tribes, especially related to the Native Americans.
And now, adding on to what Kidus and Ibrahim said, we're going to be moving on to specific cases about this whole situation at the Salt Lake. And one of the specific cases our group discovered was that there's toxic dust and increased risk of cancer from the effects of climate change on the Great Salt Lake. As the lake bed contains toxic dust that gets mixed with the dangerous metals and metalloids such as antimony, copper, zirconium, and arsenic, which are at the bottom of the lake bed in the Great Salt Lake. And these metals increase the risk of illnesses such as asthma, bronchitis, heart disease, and cancer. And then there's also dust storms, which have already been seen in southern Utah and as far as Wyoming as well from the effects of climate change. And continuing on, there are certain spots along the lake within the 800 square miles of the exposed lake bed that have a higher potential to produce these dust and increase the risk of cancer that is carried out throughout Utah from these storms. And in the red is where it's like the hot spots and more dangerous areas where there's a higher potential to produce dust that can negatively impact the residents of Utah. And according to Kevin Perry, only about 9% of the lake bed is actively producing these dust spots because three-fourths of the lake is protected by a crust. But still, this 9% is pretty worrisome and has detrimental effects on the people of Utah. And then another specific case our group found was how the lake ecosystem is impacted. As the lake's dwindling water is also impacting its salinity above safe levels for the algae and brine shrimp that maintain the food web of the Great Salt Lake. And many birds rely on the brine shrimp for food, and with their numbers declining, the birds' numbers are also declining as well, which is just destroying the food web. And that's it for our group. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.